Hi guys. Hi guys, thank you very much dear young friends, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies. It is great pleasure to join you today. I was excited. I can immediately see and feel the excitement energy of the young people and UPSC aspirant here. I thank you very much for this opportunity. This is Mr. SP.Sitarehind from Cynthia X I.A.S.it. Currently I am going to teach you GS ethics both paper, ethics, integrity, aptitude. One thing is that keep in mind, civil services examinations aptitude with SP.Sitarehind. There are two important aspects of general studies paper. Fourth, ethics, integrity, and aptitude. First two important aspects of general studies paper. Fourth, ethics, integrity, and aptitude. Second point, the total marks are more or less equally divided. Part A and Part B. Part A refer to the theory, Part B refer to the case studies. Even in Part A, the focus is more important or less are equally divided. Ethics fourth paper is only 250 marks. $250 marks. $250 marks. Next point. Even in Part A, the focus is more on practical basis. Part A. Part A, module part 1, ethics in theory. Ethics in theory. Point 1. Point 1, introduction to ethics, integrity, aptitude, values and virtue and attitude. Module second, ethics in philosophy. Ethics in philosophy. Western moral philosophy, Eastern moral philosophy, ethics Mahatma Gandhi. Module third, ethics in public governance. Under it we will discuss governance, ethics and corruption, state of ethics in public governance, and global corruption impact and causes, global action against corruption, action taken by India against corruption, and legal framework for fighting corruption. Module fourth, applied ethics. Applied ethics, ethics in business, part 1 referred to module 1, ethics in theory, introduction to ethics, integrity, aptitude, values, virtue and attitude. Next, module second, ethics in philosophy. Under it we will discuss Western moral philosophy, Eastern moral philosophy, ethics of Mahatma Gandhi. Module third, under it we will discuss ethics in public governance. Under it we will discuss governance, ethics and corruption, state of ethics in public governance, corruption impact and causes, global action against corruption, action taken by India against corruption, legal framework for fighting corruption. Module 4th, applied ethics. Applied ethics, under it we will discuss applied ethics, ethics in business. Module 5th, ethics in practice. Under it we will discuss ethical aptitude and aptitude for civil services, code of ethics and code of conduct, ethical lesson for great leaders, moral development and emotional intelligence. Module 6. Module 6 is most important. The questions ethical dilemma and case studies. Questions on applied ethics include patriotism, sexual violence, environmental ethics, international relations, economic justice. Suggested order for important of module. Point 1, ethics in practice. Under it we will discuss why should one be ethical in life and work. Point 2, what are the ethical attributes of public. Point 3, what kind of ethical lesson can be learned from great leaders. Next, ethics in theory. Under it we will discuss what are the definitions of ethics, values, aptitude, integrity. Soon, what is the ethical behavior? Applied ethics. How do the concept of ethics relate to diverse aspects such as business, natural environment, medicine, biology, international affairs? Ethics in practice. Ethics in practice. What is emotional intelligence and how is it applied? How can we improve our personal how do we what is emotional intelligence and how it is applied? How can we improve our personal ethical competence? Ethics in philosophy. We will discuss how do we interpret great quotations on ethics. Next, ethics in public governance. Under it, we will discuss what is the state of ethics in public governance. What is the state of ethics in public governance in India and abroad? What is the state of corruption in India? Ethics in philosophy. Under it, we will discuss whatever various theories of philosophies that have been proposed in the East and West. Ethics in public governance. Under it, we will discuss what are the various measures proposed being implemented for promoting ethics in public governance in India. Ethics in theory. Ethics in theory, we will discuss ethics in theory. Ethics in theory. Under it, we will discuss what is ethics. Under it, we will discuss what is ethics. Under it, we will discuss what is ethics. What is meant by ethics? What is meant by ethics? What is meant by ethics? Next, next point, ethical rules and moral standard. ethical rules and moral standard, ethics and integrity, ethics and integrity, ethics and integrity. Next, laws and ethics, laws and ethics, laws and ethics. Next, laws and ethics, ethics within, ethics within Western philosophy, ethics within Western philosophy. Under it we will discuss normative ethics. Normative ethics. Next point, metaethics, metaethics, applied ethics. Applied, under it we will discuss metaethics, applied ethics, applied ethics. Next point, why should we study ethics? Why should we study ethics? Why should we study why should we study ethics? Ethics. Why should we study ethics? The question is that the objective of studying ethics, acquisition of knowledge, ability to enhance what is right or wrong. Next point, transform yourselves and for peaceful and happy life. Next is that what are the difficulties in taking ethical decisions? What are the difficulties in taking ethical decision? Ethical decisions. Why should we study ethics? What are the difficulties in taking ethical decisions? Next, Next, how did the leader of the US how did the how did the leader of the US how did the leader of the US SEALs unit SEALs unit how did the leader of the US SEALs unit resolve his ethical dilemma resolve his ethical dilemma and what happened? And what happened? Next, how did the leader of the US SEALs unit resolve this ethical dilemma and what happened? Next point. Next point. Values and virtues. Values and virtue. Values and virtue. Under it we will discuss what are the values. Under it we will discuss point 1, what are values? What are values? Under it we will discuss what are values? Values matter. Values matter. Values matter. Point 3, attitude. Attitude. Connection between attitude. Next point, connection between values connection between values connection between values, attitude and behavior. Attitude and behavior. Okay, values and virtue. Under it we will discuss what are values. Values matter. Attitude. Connection between values, attitude and behavior. Next point. Form or attitude. Form our attitude. Form our attitude. Next, contrasting attitude in India. Contrasting attitude in India. Contrasting attitude in India. In India, Contrasting attitude in India about social problem. Contrasting attitude in India about social problem. Social problem. Form or attitude. Contrasting attitude in India about social problem. Next point. Next, extrinsic value, extrinsic values and intrinsic values. Intrinsic values. Extrinsic values and intrinsic values. Next, values come from. Values come from. Values come from. Next. Next. Short's theory of basic human value. Short's theory of basic human value. Short's theory of basic human values. Short theory of basic human values. Next point. Discovery of sorts. Discovery of sorts. Discovery of sorts. Next point. Sorts model in the context of ethics. Sorts model in the context of ethics. In the context of ethics. Sorts model in the context of ethics. In the context of ethics. Sorts model in the context of ethics. We explain the sorts circumflex. We explain the sorts circumflex. Sorts circumflex. Explain the circumflex. Explain the sorts circumflex. Okay, keep in mind this word. Sorts theory of basic human. Discovery of sorts model in the context of ethics. We explain the sorts circumflex. Next point. bleed over effect, bleed over effect, bleed over effect, seesaw effect, bleed over effect, seesaw effect, bleed over effect. Next, seesaw effect, bleed over effect, seesaw effect, bleed over effect, seesaw effect. Next we will discuss values of persons change over time. Values of persons change over time. Change over time. Values of person change over time. Next, set of universal set of universal and external values. Set of universal and external values. Set of universal and external values. Next, social values. Social values. Social values. Next, principle of social values. Principle of social values. Next, principle of social values. Next, concept of social values. Concept of social values be applied in specific cases. Be applied in specific cases. Specific cases. Next, virtue. नेक्स्ट है वर्च्यू. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, सेट ऑफ वैल्यूज एंड वाइसेस. सेट ऑफ वैल्यूज एंड वाइसेस. सेट ऑफ वैल्यूज एंड vices. Set of values and vices. Next, 7 deadly sin. 7 deadly sin. 7 deadly sin. Next, 7 modern social sin. 7 modern social sin. 7 modern social sin. Next, attitude. Next, attitude. Attitude. Under it we will discuss attitude, number 1 attitude, ABC model of attitude, ABC model of attitude, ABC model of attitude, ABC model of attitude. Next, principle of consistency, principle of consistency, principle of consistency. Next, cognitive dissonance, cognitive dissonance, cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. Next, foundation of attitude. Next, foundation of attitude. Foundation of attitude. Next, institutional function of instrumental function of instrumental function of instrumental function of satisfying utilitarian need, utilitarian needs. Next, ego defensive function, ego defensive function. Ego defensive function handling ego defensive function handling internal conflict, internal conflict. Ego defensive function handling internal conflict. Next, Next, value spacing function of maintaining. Next, self problem theory. Next, self perception theory. Self perception theory. Self perception theory. Next, self perception theory. Balance theory. Balance theory. Balance theory. Social judgment theory. Social judgment theory. Social judgment theory. Next, social judgment theory. Next, module 2. Module 2. Module 2, under it we will discuss module 2 under ethics in philosophy. Ethics in philosophy. Under it we will discuss Western moral philosophy. Point 1, Western moral philosophy. Western moral philosophy. Ethics in philosophy, under it we will discuss Western moral philosophy. Divine command theory. Divine command theory. Divine command theory. Next is that Socrates and the method of inquiry. Method of inquiry. Socrates in the method of inquiry. Next, who was Socrates? Who was Socrates? Next, remarkable about Socrates. Remarkable about Socrates. Remarkable about Socrates. Next, Socrates problem. Socrates problem. Socrates method of inquiry. Socratic method of inquiry. Method of inquiry. Socratic method of inquiry. The main teaching of the main teaching of Socrates the main teaching of Socrates regarding ethics. Ethics. Next. हेलो, हाँ हो गया जो माइक को कर रहा हूँ.